Today I'm inside and I wanted to get some things prepared for my upcoming garden season. Now, keep in mind, I'm in the frigid north. It's very cold here. We just had a massive ice storm. I'll show you guys some footage of that ice storm. Okay guys, today we have a power outage. We had a massive ice storm last night and I want to show you guys what it looks like. It is really pretty, but it's deceiving and kind of dangerous. But I'm inside today because I have something I want to show you and I need a little bit of your guys' advice on what I should do with this. So this is what I got. As you can see, these potatoes, like if it was like this, I'd be okay with that. But look at how long these are. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use these still come spring, but I mean, what do I do with all this, guys? I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with these. They're way oversprouted, way overgrown. I'm going to still keep them in my cupboard and I don't know, should I cut these off? Should I leave them? I'm not exactly sure, but I really want to plant them. I don't want to lose them, so we'll see. So next thing is the sweet potato. So I have my sweet potato here starting to grow some slips. And if you don't know how to grow sweet potatoes, I do have another video where I showed how to plant the slips, but as you can see, the little sprouts are starting to grow. So what I want to do is grow these out a little bit more, and then once they get a little bit bigger, I'll snip them off and put them in a jar with water just to cover up the very bottom of it, and they'll start to put out roots, and then that's what you plant in the ground to get sweet potatoes. So these are just starting to sprout now, which is a good sign. I'm going to keep them in my cupboard so that the eyes keep growing on here, these little sweet potato slips. Once they grow out a little bit bigger, I can take them and put them in a jar with water. But for now, I'm just going to kind of keep them in the cupboard, let them grow. What I could do is actually just pop this in a jar with water, submerge it in this jar with water, and eventually these slips will start growing out of here bigger and longer. And then once they're big enough, like at least 2 to 3 inches big, you could pick them off and stick them in the jar directly. And then once you have them in the jar, they'll start to put roots out, and then you can plant those in the summertime once it's warm enough. So these are my potatoes that I was planning on growing this year, but considering what's happening with this guy, I don't know if they're gonna last long enough to grow, so I might have to do this again with another batch of potatoes. But this would be a real loss, and I don't want to lose them, so we'll see. I also have some turmeric that I want to plant as well. My mom actually brought me some fresh turmeric that she bought from the Caribbean store that she goes to. And I actually put some in some soil. I want to show you how I'm doing this to start growing turmeric yourself at home. Okay, so I put the turmeric in this soil here a few days ago. Right here you see all these little eyes or these little nodes. That's where the roots will come from. So you want to keep that part submerged in the soil as much as possible. And then we're gonna keep this nice and wet, and eventually it'll start to put out some roots. And once it's big enough, we'll plant this outside in a bigger pot so we can start growing some turmeric root ourselves. So I'm gonna put some water in here. Okay, and I'm just Really submerge it in there. Make sure the nodes are actually touching the soil. Just pressing it in there. And every couple of days you want to come back and give this a good drink of water. Make sure that the soil stays nice and wet, because that's what's going to activate this turmeric root to actually put out the roots, and it'll start growing for us in here. So I can't wait to get that started. This is still a pain in my behind. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this. This is a weird shaped sweet potato as well, so I'm going to try and get it in here as best as I can. And I'm going to fill it up with water just up to here, and then these guys will really start to come out for us. Okay, so I got some water in my sweet potato jar here, and I'm just gonna put that off to the side and wait for these slips to grow a little bit bigger for us. Okay, so some of my root vegetables are ready to go. You can also do the exact same thing that I did with the turmeric with ginger. You basically want to snap off some of the ginger from the ginger root itself, and wherever you see little nodes on it or where the little roots were, you just want to put that in the soil and honestly just water it every few days, and it should start to grow for you. Just make sure you're using really fresh ginger or turmeric root. So I'm looking forward to having my own fresh turmeric because I love putting it in my tea, and I also like to dry it out and have dried turmeric for cooking, putting in my tea, whatever you want to use it for. So I'm outside right now. It's super cold, but I want to show you guys the ice storm a little bit more. This is the second day. It started yesterday. We actually were out of power for about 15 hours or so yesterday. We do have our generator that we hook up. Thank goodness for generators, so that we don't have to be without heat and power. So that's really good. Let me show you what it looks like. If you're planning on growing a lot more sweet potatoes, make sure you do like 3 to 5 potatoes, probably even more, so that you have enough sweet potato slips, because each one of these you can actually get probably 10 or 15 slips out of it. You want to start all of this at least a couple of months in advance, because it takes quite some time, especially the sweet potatoes, to start growing. Even the turmeric will take a little while to start putting the roots out. So start this at least a month or so before you plan on bringing them outside. The sweet potatoes, I actually start them a couple of months before I'm ready to grow sweet potatoes for my garden. Right now we're actually working on a video where we showed the exact build of the chicken run, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that, because it's a very detailed, in-depth video on how we built it. We're going to show you step by step how you can build a great chicken run for your chickens. So as for now, I'm actually going to go to my pack of seeds. I'm going to choose out all of the seeds that I want to start for my garden this year. Obviously I'm going to grow tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and some root vegetables, as well as some brassicas that I want to start early this spring. But one of the things I'm super excited to grow are some pepper seeds that my mom brought back when she went to the Caribbean. She brought back some peppers, and she got the seeds from the peppers that were growing there. So I'm so excited to try and grow these. I'll show you guys them in the next video. But it's gonna be super cool to grow some like Caribbean sweet peppers. It's gonna be awesome. I think there's also some like mildly spicy peppers, but not very spicy at all. But anyhow, guys, I'm gonna go give the goats some goat minerals because I need to top that up. The stairs are super slippery. It's really cold out today. Tonight it's getting down to -14, I believe. And so that's pretty cold. So I wanna show you guys one more thing before we head out. Okay, so right here by this window, I have a few plants. Right here, this is that basil that I bought for $1 from the grocery store earlier this last fall, I believe I bought this. Yeah, it was last fall. I harvest this as much as I want, honestly. I also have another basil downstairs as well. I wanted to show you guys the progress of my herbs that I propagated by buying store-bought herbs. So all I did was I purchased a pack of thyme. And what I did was I just took this one and I put it in a jar, and now you can see there's roots growing out from it. And this actually took quite some time to get the roots going. You can see the roots are growing all up and down here. There's even some roots up on this side, but it took quite some time for the roots to come out. And the only way I actually got this to propagate properly was by choosing herbs that already had a little bit of the root attached to it. So if I was to choose an herb that was like cut from up here, it didn't work. I tried it twice already and it just didn't work. They just sat in the water and rotted. I didn't use any rooting hormone or anything on this. I wanted to try it without that. I do have rooting hormone that I can use if I wanted to, but I saw this method all over and I wanted to try it, but it didn't work, guys. The only way it worked was by choosing herbs that had some of these roots still attached to the plant, because without that, the plant just honestly just sat there and rotted. So make sure if you're going to try to propagate herbs, buy some rooting hormone or choose herbs that already have a little bit of their roots still attached to the plant. It's the only way I got it to work. And all I did was I put it in a little jar with water, and I just kept it by. It actually has a lot of roots. Those are ready to be planted now. So I'm gonna put it in some moistened soil, pat it down, give it a good watering, and put it by the window, and it'll start to grow just as much as this basil here. That's the tip for you guys if you're trying to grow herbs that you bought from the store. Okay, let's do an update on the things we started yesterday. So this was that sweet potato that I put in the water here. It's a little crooked, but I want to show you guys just how quickly the sweet potato puts out the roots, especially this time of the year where the sun is shining and we know the weather is starting to change, even though it's still very cold for us. It's only been 24 hours since I put this in here, but look at all these roots. So one day later and they're already coming out of the potato. Some of the slips are already coming out of the top as well. So that's looking really good. Okay, so yesterday I told you guys that the thyme here that I bought, but this is what I grew out for the past, I think, 2 weeks or so. I've had this in the water here. Okay, so I have my water here and my container that I'm going to plant this in. And I'm just gonna moisten this soil a little bit. And we're just gonna plant the thyme now that it has a good enough set of roots on here. So I'm just gonna stick my finger down in it. I have 2 little ones that I'm gonna plant here. I wanna make sure the roots get completely buried in the soil. A little deeper. And then this one as well has a bit of roots on it, so I'm going to put it in here. And cover that up. Press it down and give it a good drink more of water. Okay, I'm just going to put this back by the window and let it continue to grow. But you can see this thyme is very much alive. Looks beautiful. It's going to go back by the window. All right, guys, well, that's where I'm going to leave it. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what's been going on around the homestead the past few days. It's really cold, too slippery to spend any time outside, really, because of the ice storm. And it's still going to remain icy for the next couple of days at least. So there's not much we can do outside except feed and water the animals and then run back in. And there's no gardening right now. It's still super cold. So all I'm going to do really is go through my seed packets and figure out exactly what I want to plant for this year's garden. I will make a video and take you guys along to show you exactly what I'm planning on growing for this year. Okay guys, well, I'm gonna go have some sushi that I bought while I was out taking my car to the garage this morning. Oh, and if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. And then also hit that little bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video, because I know a lot of people don't hit the bell, so then you're not gonna know if I upload a video. So make sure you do that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay peaceful. Bye.